Hey guys, are you wondering on exactly how to install continuous fence for your fencing project? In this video, we're going to show you exactly how, step by step. Here we go. All right, so the tools that you're going to need for installing your continuous fence, these aren't all of them. These are just some of the ones that we're going to use today. There's obviously different options. One thing to help you if you're all by yourself is to have some pipe jacks. Now, if you don't want to buy pipe jacks, see if somebody's got some you can borrow. You might even be able to rent them at a tool rental, I'm not sure. But these jack stands really help out if you had 4 of them to give you some extra hands to hold up the continuous fence where you need it so you can screw it in or weld it. Super helpful. If not, have an extra hand there to help you. If you have a top rail, you can also use either a hook of some sort or even a ratchet strap or something that you have string laying around at your property, whatever it may be. Another great tool to have when doing continuous fence is a level for your posts, even your continuous fence. If you got a pretty level ground, level's always handy to have. You're definitely going to need a string line. Recommend a string line. Obviously have some gloves, safety glasses, always helpful to have. Now if you're installing it with clips and screws, you want to use a impact drill and a 5/16 socket adapter for your impact drill. Why we use an impact drill compared to just a regular drill, it just gives it that extra kick when you need it going through thicker pipe or any type of pipe. Impact drill really helps compared to a regular drill. We're going to use a tape measure, a marking pen of some sort, skill saw, or not a skill saw, a sawzall. And this sawzall is great if you're out in the middle of nowhere or far on your property and you don't have power. Just use a battery, and you're good to go. It's going to help us cut easily this continuous fence to length. I'll show you how that works for corners and the ends of your fence. If you're using clips and screws, obviously you need your clips and screws, you need your continuous fence, you need some posts. And with your posts, I like to have always a pipe guide on hand so we can mark exactly a straight circle for cutting your post. If you don't have one of these, you could just get a piece of paper, wrap it around, match it up, and mark it. And then obviously a little hammer here, gonna be great for putting your caps on your posts. We've got plastic as well as the end of your continuous fence, or we have metal options, and all these can be found on our website at 7peaksproducts.com for different options as far as post caps or clips. If you are needing wood clip with lags into wood posts rather than metal posts, we have that as well. We're not going to show you that today, but it is an option when installing continuous fence. So these are the tools and products we're going to use for installing this continuous fence. Let's jump on in it, see how this goes step by step. Here we go. All right guys, so as you can see here, we already have our post set. So if you need instructions on how to set posts, click the link right here somewhere on this video and go watch. We have multiple options on how to best set posts for your continuous fence project or any other project that you're working on where you need posts. We'll show you how to do that. So we're not going to dive into that today, but we're going to show you right here is really continuous fence. It can be customizable really how you want it. Regularly it's going to be a 5-foot fence, so it's meant to be a little bit off the ground. You're going to have a 5-foot fence, and so all of our posts are set. They're a little bit higher. Now, one thing in particular a lot of people don't realize, but they think that it has to be level. The top rail or the rails need to be level. Well, the issue with that is if you were level and you had some type of a slant or a pitch to your property, it's really going to look weird. One end might be touching the ground, the other end might be up a foot or 6 inches, and it's going to be off. So the recommendation that I have is to follow the lay of the land. Okay, and so with that, we're going to go around and mark 5 feet on each post. Okay, so right here we marked 5 feet. We're going to mark it with our pen or our marker. Okay, so we already got that. Okay, so all of these we're going to mark 5 feet. First step before you get started with your continuous fence is obviously you got to purchase your continuous fence. You want to make sure you have all the pieces together. You want to decide between our 4, 5, or 6 rail, get your continuous fence. Then you're gonna go and lay out your project. Now you're probably gonna have an idea what you're gonna do because you already bought it all, and you kind of need to have an idea when you buy the products. Now we gotta lay it out and figure out where our corners are gonna be, where the gates are gonna be, and where the ends are gonna be, so that you can start laying out and setting your posts. Now, as you can see here, we already set our posts, so we're not gonna dive into that. But if you need instructions on how to set posts, click the link somewhere on this screen, and we have a bunch of videos on different options on how to set posts and which option is best. All right, now that we got all our posts set, this is when you need your string line, okay? Now the string line, what you're gonna do is, since we have it all marked at 5 feet, we're gonna pull it tight. Make sure when you're doing this, you're just below it. So when you wrap it around here, you're gonna go tight. And then watch this, when I come up, I'm gonna be right on that line. Now if you need to move it down a little bit, you can. Okay, so that is 5 feet right here. So now if you look at it, you can see this post is a little bit lower, drops a little bit low right there. So we got perfect 5 feet on this end, perfect 5 feet on that end. Okay, and then this post drops a little bit. So because of that, I'm just gonna leave it. It's not much. It's literally, it's about 1/4 inch. So I'm gonna leave that one because it's really not a big deal. You're not gonna notice a 1/4 inch when you put it up. Say you had 100, 200, 300 feet and you wanted to follow the lay of the land. Run your string line and mark it, and put it on 5 feet all the way. And sometimes you may have to go up a little bit or down a little bit to kind of make it a nice, smooth, gradual transition rather than real jagged up and down every 10 feet. Kind of like we did here. Make it go up a little bit higher on this post and maybe just gradually keep going up on this one, so you're not seeing a huge gap and difference on the bottom distance between the rail and the ground. So just a little tip there. Hopefully that makes sense, but we're going to show you right here. So we're at 5 feet. I'm going to get a string line and do 5 feet on that side, and really this is going to be the top of our continuous fence. And so when we hang it, we just follow this line, super easy. Help us set it up, and we're going to use the jack stands. Help me do it by myself. I'm going to show you how to do it by yourself if you have nobody else to help you. Okay, I'm going to string line this one, and we're going to keep going. So what's really helpful if you're doing this all by yourself, these jack stands, if you don't have any, try and find somebody that you can borrow them from. If not, you can buy these on Amazon or at your local pipe store. Hardware store should have it, Home Depot, whatever, but it's basically just giving you that extra hand. So it's gonna help you adjust it to the height, to make it level, and help you when installing this fence. So use that if needed. All right, today we're gonna be using our standard continuous fence clip. It's 1.25 inches, sleeves right over the rail, and you're gonna mount it using a self-drilling screw. Our panel mounting screw, super easy, drills through your post all by itself with your drill. You're gonna need a 5/16 socket drill bit and your impact drill. Impact drill is super important here, not just your normal average drill. So another option when you're mounting continuous fence, you can always, you could weld it if needed. If you know how to weld, you can use wood clips. We have a set of wood clips that have a bigger hole for your lag. You can use lag bolts to go into it. You could use these clips and you could weld the clips on if you want, rather than using screws. It's totally up to you on the option, but this is an easy do-it-yourself option that you don't have to know how to weld. Very easy to install, especially during a burn ban or certain times like that, where if you do weld or anything and you have dry grass, it's going to light on fire. You can't do that. So this is a great option for that as well. All right, we just got our first panel mounted. Now, an important note I want you guys to understand is this flat strap, if you're not careful, you're gonna be running into where it is right on your post. Now, if you're using clips and screws like we are today, you will not be able to put a clip in a screw if this flat strap is right on it. So what we did was we came off basically the same amount. This is 9.5 inches, and 9.5 inches over here, and that's only on our post. It probably won't be your post. Every post is set differently, but it's going to be roughly around 10 feet is what we recommend. You can go closer in together for more strength on your continuous fence, but what we did, we came off 9.5 inches. We cut these ends off, okay, just to have our nice start. Now every post that we get to should be on the same pattern of missing here about 9.5 inches. It'll be a little bit different, but should be pretty close, okay? So now that we got that first one mounted, I have just one clip unscrew on this one because we're gonna keep going, but now we're gonna attach our next panel onto our sleeves right here. All right, once again, I'm out here by myself, so I'm using my handy dandy pipe jack stands. Okay, so the reason I'm doing that is I'm gonna hold it on this end, have it hold it up, so I can sleeve these inserts, this continuous fence onto the previous panel we just mounted, okay? Hey guys, if you like what you're seeing in these videos, be sure to like and subscribe for more great videos. Thanks. You wanna make sure you have a clean cut. You want this to be a factory edge. You don't want it to be an edge you cut, because if it's one you cut, they're all gonna be different. They're not gonna match up straight. So make sure it's one of the factory edges. Kind of get them all started. Once you get it all started, okay, you can push it on. Make sure it's nice and tight, and you're good to go like that. So I just did that all by myself. Obviously this is a shorter piece here because we want to show you how these sleeves, but same thing if you're doing 20 feet. You're going to put something to hold it. If you have two people, even better. But if you're by yourself, have something to hold it up. You can even use bricks or something underneath. Hold it up, come start each one, sleeve it on. You can see we're a little bit off there, so we're gonna bring this down. We're obviously a little high here. So now we can, with this jack stand, they're really handy to bring things down or move them up as needed to adjust it. So one little trick too, if you have a hammer, you can hit your flat strap to kick it over as much as you need, okay? All right, we're gonna finish mounting this now that we sleeved our next piece on, and then we're gonna work on the other side and just keep going. All right guys, so we just got our front continuous fence panel on, and to recap what we did here, to start off, we basically, since I'm doing it by myself again, we had my handy dandy pipe jacks down there to hold it up to the string line. I came and lifted it up on this side. I started one in the middle to kind of hold it, basically in line with the other rails here. And what I did was slide it basically to the end of the other continuous fence piece. So you can see here, they kind of butt into each other. You can see up top, it's level, it's flush with that. And then on the bottom, we're sticking out a little bit. Obviously, because the ground here is a little different. We're going with the lay of the land. We're going 5 feet off from the ground. So a little bit low over there, so it dropped us a little bit, kicking this end out. So I'll have to cut that down a little bit. I'm OCD like that, but you can leave it, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna cut it down, and then we're gonna put caps on all this, and this is how we do our corners. Butt it in like that, and then go over it. Say you were gonna keep going, you know, on this right here and have a T, you do the same thing. You butt into it, put your continuous fence clips. This is how our corners work. And I gotta cut this down, and then over there I'm gonna be putting a gate, so I'm gonna cut out where the gate is. We're gonna go from there, and then obviously our next step is we're gonna be cutting our posts all to the height we need and putting our caps on to finish it off for a nice clean finish. So I'm gonna cut the gate real quick, finish off everything nice, and we'll show you the finished result here shortly. And these are the 1.25" caps that we're gonna use to plug the ends of the continuous fence here. You can see they just go right in, clean up that for a nice clean finish. All right, we got all of our continuous fence mounted that we're gonna be doing today. Now we gotta chop off the tops of our posts, okay? So that's what's handy, comes in handy with this pipe guide. If you wanna get one of these, go to our website, link in the description below. And if not, you can get a piece of paper, and obviously it's gonna be a straight line. These are good for saddles, but now what you want to consider if you're using these clips and screws, if you're gonna be using a pressed post cap, a metal pressed cap, it's actually gonna go over a little bit, and So you're gonna wanna make sure that distance, you have that space between the clip and the top of your post for it to fit over. If you're just gonna use a plastic plug like we've got, you can come down a little bit closer, and obviously it's gonna go inside, so it's not gonna affect it at all. So I'm gonna mark all these, and we're gonna cut all the way around to finish this off, and we're gonna be done with this continuous fence project for today. All right guys, we just got finished mounting our continuous fence. Easy do-it-yourself fencing. Hopefully you liked it, and hopefully it answered a lot of your questions and helped you in installing your continuous fence. But if you want to watch the next video on how to install a gate with your continuous fence, stay tuned, click the link somewhere right here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Brought to you by Seven Peaks Fence and Barn.